Just sitting here this morning thinking about the passing of Dolly and drinking some coffee out of this mug a friend gave me this year. It says, "Wildflowers don't care where they grow." And it's a little quote from Dolly. It's just so crazy that, she's not here anymore on Earth, and she just was such a big part of this area. I live around Knoxville, and she grew up in East Tennessee, and I remember moving from Cleveland, Tennessee, to Pigeon Forge area when I was in 5th grade, and it was so different. But Dollywood was a big deal, and I think my oldest sister even worked there at one point, and I remember going there, and I've been there many times. But my dad, he ended up getting a job. Also, he had a few jobs, but he ended up working as a teacher at Sevier County High School. It was the same high school Dolly went to. He was there for 15 years, and one of my first jobs was I worked for me and my middle sister. We worked for one of Dolly's sisters, Stella Parton. She had this cute little kind of like cafe. It was like a hat house off of Ware Sally Road. This was a long time ago, but we helped, work in the kitchen a little, and like washing dishes and things like that. And I think we probably served a few things to some of the customers too. But she had all these neat hats on hat stands out in her little shop, and she also played her music, Stella, Dolly's sister, and she's also a very good singer. But I remember that was like one of my first jobs, and my stepmom, she impersonated Dolly a little bit at Memory Theater. She and my dad, they worked there for many, many years. My dad played the bass guitar, and my stepmom, she sang backup, and she'd sing some songs also. Just like she started being an impersonator for Dolly at one point. And there's just a lot, like everything, there's so much that Dolly was a part of. Like she just, I don't know, it's just crazy to think that she's not here anymore. And yeah, I knew that she would pass eventually, getting up in her age, and that this life doesn't go on forever here on Earth. But I think I kind of hoped that maybe she would be one of those people that would live into her 90s, maybe even to 100. I'm sure many of us hoped for that. But she did a lot of good for a lot of people. Of course, besides her songs, and she just had the best voice ever, like just a very distinct, sweet voice that you just couldn't help but to love and listen to. She did, the Dolly's Imagination Library, where she sent books to all Sevier County residents, to children 5 and under, for free. And my son got to be part of that. He got books sent to him, and I have a lot of them still. Some of my favorites, actually took some off of the bookshelf. This one was one of my favorites. Ferdinand. I remember remember this book actually from when I was younger. I used to read it at my grandmother's house in Florida. That's one of my favorites that was sent. Old Bear and his cub. It's a cute book. Miss Maple Seeds. You can see the Dolly's Imagination Library logo. That was a cute book. Cute book. The Gruffalo. Love this book. So funny. And of course, Dolly Parton, Coat of Many Colors. These are just some of my favorites. But she had started that, and that I thought that was really awesome. And now, you know, she sends them to not just only Sevier County residents for kids 5 and under, but I think it's all over America, maybe the world. But she helped when there was the wildfires of 2016. I was here then, and, you know, I lived actually in Sevier County then, and almost really in Gatlinburg, really close to Gatlinburg. And that I remember that day. I remember everything that happened. And, you know, I'd heard after everything that she had donated money to the families that lost their homes. And she also gave a lot for, you know, to help, I believe it was Newport, and which is right outside of Sevierville, when Hurricane Helene came through, and that little town got pretty devastated, and she gave a lot to them to help them to rebuild. And so she's done a lot, and it's just, you know, I just remember her today, like many are, in thinking of her, and just thinking about what a light she was here on earth. And I really believe that she knew Jesus, and she was a believer, and she's there now in heaven. And yeah, just sitting here thinking about it all today. It's a sad day, it's a sad time, but it's also a comfort knowing, you know, where she is. And so I keep that in mind. But I think we all can learn a little something from Miss Dolly Parton. Even if we're not big country music fans, she was just a really, really big light in this world. So, cheers to Dolly Parton. We remember you, Dolly, and as others are saying, you know, we will always love you.